Why are the American taxpayers subsidizing a university that has billions of dollars in the bank already? And we certainly should not be funding a place where such grave anti-Semitism exists.
In April 2025, the Trump administration froze over $2.2 billion in federal research grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard University. This followed Harvard's refusal to comply with demands to reform its governance, hiring practices, and its admissions policies. The administration cited Harvard's failure to address anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias on campus, especially after a university task force report detailed harassment against Jewish students. On May 2, 2025, President Trump escalated matters by announcing plans to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status, accusing the university of being a political entity with ideological bias. Harvard President Alan Garber condemned this as illegal and warned that it threatened academic independence. In response, Harvard filed a lawsuit arguing the actions violate its First Amendment rights and sets a dangerous precedent for government interference in higher education. Now, Harvard's $53.2 billion endowment means the funding freeze may not seem like a significant financial blow, but it is crucial for understanding the broader implications of this legal battle. To grasp why this dispute matters, we need to take a look at Harvard's history. Founded in 1636, Harvard is the oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, once focused on training clergy and now a symbol of academic excellence. Over time, it has embraced progressive movements and diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiatives, but it has also faced criticism, especially regarding its handling of anti-Semitism and bias allegations. Harvard's reliance on federal funds, $686 million in 2024, shows just how much it depends on these resources despite its vast endowment. This makes the Trump administration's funding freeze a significant matter. This standoff between the federal government and a private institution raises questions about federal power over universities. Legal experts warn that using funding and tax status to impose political agendas could undermine academic freedom across the United States. Harvard's case, now in court, is seen as a bellwether for future conflicts over the government's influence on academic institutions. The lawsuit questions whether federal funds should come with ideological strings attached and what that means for academic integrity. The Trump administration's move is more than just a financial dispute. It's actually a cultural reckoning. The administration claims that Harvard fosters an environment hostile to Jewish students and fails to curb anti-Semitic behavior, partly due to its DEI programs. Harvard, on the other hand, argues that this is an unlawful government intrusion. The key issue here is federal power. Critics argue that federal funding has turned universities into instruments of political and social engineering, often aligned with progressive ideologies. Harvard, long a defender of liberal values, is now caught in a fight over what it sees as executive overreach. Some private institutions, like Hillsdale College in Michigan, rejects all federal funding and maintains academic freedom by adhering to principles rooted in the Constitution, as well as the Declaration of Independence. Harvard, despite its vast resources, could follow Hillsdale's example, rejecting federal funds to protect its independence. But that would also require it to take full responsibility for governing itself, something that it appears very reluctant to do. In 2021, the Louis D. Brandeis Center filed a complaint on behalf of Jewish mental health counselors at Stanford University. The counselors alleged that the university's DEI program perpetuated a hostile environment by ignoring anti-Semitism and invoking harmful stereotypes. The complaint was filed with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Also in 2021, 3 white teachers sued the New York City Department of Education, alleging reverse discrimination under the guise of DEI training. They claimed that diversity training sessions included statements implying that white staff should step back to promote racial equality. The case resulted in a $2.1 million settlement, with the court finding evidence that race was a determinative factor in hiring decisions. Now, these cases, both of them, reflect the broader concerns that DEI programs, while well-intentioned, may sometimes contribute to an environment where discrimination against certain groups can occur in the name of promoting diversity. In light of mounting pressure and the ongoing legal dispute, Harvard has made several concessions to the Trump administration. First, the university announced changes to its DEI programs, vowing to better address anti-Semitism on campus and reevaluate certain policies deemed politically biased. The outcome of this ongoing legal and cultural battle may reshape the future of higher education in the U.S., with significant implications for the role of government in funding as well as regulating academic institutions. For NDTV, this is Priyanka Deo signing off. Namaste.